The clock is ticking down toward a possible strike by dock workers that could have severe repercussions for the U.S. economy. Thousands of dock workers at ports from Maine to Texas could walk off the job tomorrow if a contract agreement is not reached. The sticking points are better pay and job protection from automation. A strike could affect nearly half of the nation's imports, leading to a massive supply chain disruptions and surging prices. Analysts say a dock strike could cost the U.S. economy about $5 billion a day. While President Biden has the authority to intervene, administration officials say he is not planning to do so. CBS News New York reporter Tim McNicholas has been covering the story for us. Tim, you've been following the developments. What are the sticking points?
Lindsay, the biggest issues in this negotiation are wages and automation. I'm told that these two sides are at an impasse on those issues, and at this point, a deal is unlikely. Governor Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, just spoke in this building behind me here at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey headquarters, and she said that she is fully expecting a strike. So that means 47,000 dock workers will walk off the job if the International Longshoremen's Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance do not reach a deal today, Lindsay.
If dock workers strike, what will be the impact on the nation's supply chain? How soon could we start seeing shortages or price spikes?
So economists say that this could be the biggest disruption to the flow of goods in and out of the U.S. since the height of the pandemic. I want to put this into perspective for you here. Governor Hochul, for example, just told us that New Yorkers should maybe, if they're planning on buying a car this week, they might want to call the car dealership ahead to make sure there are no issues with that. But she also urged people to not overreact. She said that she's not expecting a shortage of essential goods anytime soon. She also said that some distributors have been stockpiling goods to make sure that the impact of this is mitigated or limited in some way. So just to put that into perspective, there will be an impact here. We spoke to the owner of a grocery store in Brooklyn, New York over the weekend, who said that, for example, he expects his banana shelf could be empty within a week of this strike because most of his bananas are imported. So there will be an impact on fresh fruit. But as far as essential goods, Governor Hochul just said that pharmaceuticals, for example, she said people don't really need to worry about that too much because most pharmaceuticals are brought into the U.S. by plane, Lindsay.
What if that could happen on the overall U.S. economy? I mean, that figure, $5 billion a day?
So economists have told us that even a 2-week strike could cause issues and disruptions in the economy into the next year. Now, there is some good news here as far as something that might be on a lot of people's minds right now, holiday shopping. Those toys and those toys that people want, the presents they're trying to get for their kids, things like that. Most of that is already in the warehouses and ready to go here. So there won't be a huge impact in that regard. However, there could be some impact to fresh fruit down the road. There could be some impact to fish that's imported. There could be an impact in the grocery store, and that could in turn affect prices, Lindsay.
Tim McNicholas, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Quadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. All right, I'm the brother Yawanathan, back another quick lesson, Lord willing is edifying. And we're about 7 hours away from the port strike deadline. So if they don't reach a deal by 12 o'clock tonight, September 30th, 2024, which will be October 1st, all right, tomorrow, Tuesday, if they don't reach a deadline by tonight, all right, those 45,000 workers, they said they're gonna go on that strike for sure. So it's really looking like it's gonna happen. Now, there's a lot of negative impact that's gonna have on America's economy and supply chain. All right, here I looked up on Google real quick, just a quick Google search, you know, how much of America's supply is imported. And it gives you the breakdown, you know, goods and services, food, electricity, crude oil. But the main point is at the end, the U.S. is the world's second largest trading nation behind China. The U.S. has trade relations with more than 200 countries, territories, and regional associations. So this is basically a consumer nation. And see, a port strike like this, it's just going to basically make this house of cards fall. You know, that's really going to destroy the way of life, so-called, as we know it here in America. Because, yeah, a lot of the stuff that we purchase, you know, a lot of the things that people use in their everyday life here in America is imported. You know, it's basically, once that's cut off, you don't have no more access to that. They don't produce certain things here in America. All right. America is in a bad trade deficit where they don't really export nowhere near amount of goods and services, etc., that they import. You know, so basically, if you really want to put it like this, America's on borrowed time. You know, the scriptures even tell you that this place is bruised and it cannot be healed. That's in the book of Jeremiah. Matter of fact, yeah, let me get it real quick. I was gonna go somewhere else, but it's the spirit. Jeremiah chapter 50. Actually, it's 51 and verse 7. I'm gonna start at 7 first, and then I'm gonna jump down to the point, which is basically verse 8 and 9. Really 7 through 9. So it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So this Babylon is not talking about ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon didn't make the whole world, the whole earth drunken. Ancient Babylon wasn't doing trade deals with over 200 countries, etc., throughout the world. That's America. All right, America is the one that is feeding these nations the wine, making them rich. You know, basically the wine represents their philosophy, you know, democracy and all their other ideology of feminism and homosexuality and all of that bullshit. You know, that's the wine. But also these nations are in bed with America financially. All right, these nations have ties economically to America, such as U.S. treasuries, you know, basically borrowing or using the U.S. dollar. You know, you have deals like OPEC in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia that they basically trade oil in U.S. dollars only. All right, so these nations that have partaken in America's trade and traffic and their economy, they basically became rich because of that. You know, so everybody really all over the world damn near is in bed with America. You see? And that's the Babylon that is speaking about, Babylon the Great, not ancient Babylon. This new prophetic Babylon that the scriptures tell you is going to be destroyed by fire. You know, this place is going downhill, man. This strike thing is really just only one element of all the chaos that's about to come. You know, it could lead to a domino effect. And we really just got to wait and see, because how many times we heard of threats of strikes and, you know, oh man, if this happens, you know, the economy is going to go under. And, you know, they keep calling it off. Well, we don't know, you know, we just going to have to wait and see on this one. But it really is looking like they're going to do the strike. And every day that them people strike, for every one day, they said that's going to cost about $50 billion of America's economy. And even if they was to, let's say, only strike for 3 days, those 3 days could still have, you know, longer effects in the coming days and months and weeks. All right, leading into next year, as they said. You know, so this is a big deal. And the scriptures tell you, don't be in darkness as do others. I'm roughly paraphrasing. 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. We know the times and the seasons, and we're watching. You know, we're children of the day, children of the light. We're awake through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Shah. We have eyes to see and ears to hear. So we understand, you know, really the severity of these different situations, which are prophecy, you know, while the rest of the world is concerned with Diddy and the Diddler and whatever else is going on, the 100,000 bounty that they put on young Dolph. I mean, we see these things, but that's not really important in the grand scheme of things, man. It's not important. This is more important right here. But this is, you don't really see too many people talking about this. All right, but this is going to affect America in such a negative way if it actually happens, that it very well could be a domino effect leading to Jacob's trouble, leading to famine, you know, leading to food riots. Because they're already saying, well, you got to go get your gifts for the holidays now. You might as well just go now, because if this thing goes down, it's not going to be no holidays here in America. The mirth is going to cease. Like the scriptures say, the city of confusion is broken down. So this place is coming to a halt. It's breaking down surely, or they say slowly but surely. But pretty soon the Lord is going to, you know, he's going to make it faster. He's going to, he's going to rapidly destroy this place, man. It said a speedy riddance. All right, leading up to the missiles, that's only going to take an hour. Once World War III actually goes hot and nuclear, and all these nations, like I said, the nations are mad, right? They're going to shoot their missiles on America, because they're going to realize that the deals that they made, even though temporarily they were living good, but when everything goes downhill, they're basically tied to America like an anchor. You know, so if America falls, guess what? China falls. And all these nations that are living deliciously, because America is such an imported country, you know, a consumer country, or a corporation rather, you know, they're going to fall too. They're not going to be able to survive without America. And that's Revelation, the 18th chapter. Maybe I'll go into it. I'm not sure, because I have a list of scriptures that I already want to hit. But, you know, this is the spirit. Well, if you just go read it, it tells you about the shipmasters, how they're going to mourn once they see America's burning. All right, because even though they're the ones that's going to shoot the missiles on this place, it's going to be like a heat of the moment thing. And really, it's the Lord doing it. You know, it's the holy angels that's going to make them shoot the missiles off and destroy this bitch. But nevertheless, these nations are going to see that, and they're going to have a reality check, like, oh shit, what the hell are we going to do now? Who's going to buy our goods? All right, because nobody, is only one other country that's an imported country like America, which is China. So there's really nobody else to buy up all these other nations' goods and services like America and China does. And once again, if America's economy fails, so will China's, because it's relying upon American imports. So it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. So that's basically telling you that she can't be healed. This place has a wound that could never be healed, and that's called $260 trillion of debt. Actual debt. All right, yeah, 35 trillion in national debt, but when you look at the real number, it's actually 260 trillion in total. How the hell is this place ever going to recover from that? So there's only one way to go. There's nothing has gotten better in America really since its prime back in like the 50s and the 60s, man. Nothing has been the same. Nothing has increased. Nothing has done any better. And actually, every time you hear, you know, this happening and that happening, they'll refer back to those times. Oh, wow, we haven't seen this since the 70s or the 80s. Showing you that it's going downhill, man. All right, it's not going, they're not going forward. I mean, technically, yeah, time, you know, you can't go back in time and relive, you know, those times no more. So we are going forward technically, but really this place is being broken down. That's what I mean. You know, it's being weakened by the day. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So that's why the Lord, you know, there's a time frame. Like I said earlier, this place is living on borrowed time. There's a time frame in which the Lord's just going to destroy this place. All right, he's going to pronounce his judgment on it. And like it says, it's going to be famine. You know, she's going to be destroyed with famine and plagues. So there's going to be disease outbreaks out here. There's going to be food and water shortages. All right, these things are prophesied in the Bible. So again, this type of an event like this could very well have some type of domino effect. Not only on America, but really on the whole world. All right, on the whole globe. Ezekiel, I think it was what, 28? Matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna read that. Ezekiel chapter 28, and the point is in 5. I'm gonna start at verse 4. But even when you read it up from the top, it's dealing with Tyre, which was basically a coast city in the ancient world that dealt with a lot of trade. Because remember, we didn't always have planes. You know, the so-called white man, the Most High gave him the wisdom and knowledge to create flight, so to speak, which really, that's debatable, because really they said it was really a Jake that did it, man. It was really us, our people, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, really a so-called Negro from the tribe of Judah that actually created flight. But nevertheless, all wisdom coming from above, from the Father of lights. So it was given to man to create these things for the Lord's purpose. And they use air traffic to also trade. But when you just strictly dealing with the ancient world, and even still today, the majority of trade gets traded by sea. So this Tyre that is speaking about, yeah, it was an ancient city, and that this prophecy here applied to them, but now it applies to the so-called white man, because he's in the power seat and he has all the maritime laws and basic control over the ports and the sea and trade and traffic. And that's part of him, basically inheriting the earth, basically having the fatness of the earth and being the one that's in power. That's was given to him. That's his lot. All right. So, but you just got to jump down to verse 4 and 5 for really the main point. It says, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. So, right. That's why Americans are so goddamn proud. These people here, this is luxurious. Like, even the poor people in America is not, you can't even compare them to poor people in any other part of the world, because they wouldn't even look poor. You wouldn't even know that, damn, this is a poor person. This is this person is broke according to American standards. You wouldn't even know compared to in other countries. So it's this place that got lifted up, and basically, how could I say it? It basically increased riches through trading and traffic. All right, through making different deals, putting a dollar as a world reserve currency. All these things is what made America so-called great, if you want to say that. For the time that it was. There was a short time frame in which this place was actually the best country in the world when you're dealing with, economy and things like that, technological advancement. Now America has been falling behind because the Lord is destroying this place. He's taking it out, man. But it still remains in that seat of Babylon the Great. It still remains in that main, well, really, I guess China and America is competing on who's the bigger consumer nation, who's the one that has the most imports. You see? And they say, according to that Google search, that China is first and America second. So that's what it says. When you click on that word traffic there, if you got the Blue Letter app or some type of concordance, you could go into the Hebrew word for traffic, which is YASHARAHLA, if I pronounce that correctly. It says merchandise, traffic, trade. And that's what this whole port strike thing is basically going to affect. That's what it's dealing with. It's dealing with trade, and it's dealing with trafficking of merchandise. All right, which is how really everything that we have around us basically is damn near imported. It's basically brought through by trade and traffic. You see? And that's pretty much all it says. So let's go back. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. This is a future prophecy going into, well, this could come out of this, basically. This is what could come out of this port strike. They're going to have to dig more into the reserves, which is already basically being depleted. Because remember, you had the bottleneck ships, the bottleneck, whatever, imports. That also happened on the West Coast. I think that was like 2022. Or it could have been at the beginning of the scamdemic, the COVID thing. But they said that, the C-19 destroyed the global trade and economy. It basically halted a lot of things and negatively impacted things. Even till right now, we're still being affected by it. So how much more this one? All right, you seen it was like, I forget how many ports, but I know it's 45,000 workers that's ready to go on this strike, man. And that's gonna definitely be a fatal blow to this economy and to the supply chain. That's the point. there's not going to be so much supply when you go to the store, which is going to cause what? Panic buying. And the scriptures speak about all these things, how people are going to come against each other because there's a lack of resources. Let me get it. 2nd Esdras 15 and 19. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So great tribulation is going to be in the cities and the streets of America, and also a lack of bread, which is what? Famine. So when the famine hits, people are going to resort to destroying one another, man. They're not going to have pity on each other. Oh, well, he has a family and children, he got to feed. Well, I got a family and children, I got to feed. All right, that's going to be the mentality. The love of many is going to wax cold, like the scriptures tell you. All right, when you take people's food away, that's not a joke, man. The scripture even tell you in Lamentations, I think 4:9, that, you know, to die by famine is worse than by the sword. So nobody want to starve to death, but guess what? That's the Lord, man. That's the punishment for you proud ass people here in America, man. Great misery shall be done in the latter times upon them which dwell up in the world because of their pride. Roughly paraphrasing 2nd Esdras 8 and 50. Part of those great miseries is famine. That's a miserable way to die, man. That's a painful, agonizing death. Oh yeah, this nigga, the diddler, is trying to starve himself. He don't want to eat, supposedly. From when I heard this a couple days ago, I don't even keep up with the stories. I really don't give a shit, but I'll see it pop up in my feed. But he's afraid to be poisoned. So supposedly, from what I've seen or heard, is that he's not eating. Now, don't you know that it's going to be a worse death for you to die not eating than if you just get poisoned? Don't you know it's more painful to die by starvation than to just be poisoned and then just head out like that? You know, so that's a plague of the mind. That's fear and anxiety on a higher level. You know, what that demon nigga is experiencing, and good for his ass, man. I hope he's starved to death in there. I hope he doesn't eat and he just starves himself to death. Because that, like I said, what the scriptures say is that that's pretty much one of the worst ways you can die. You got a list of things that, you know, a list of ways that, you know, let's put it by like how basically scary it is to die or how painful it is. You know, you got drowning, you got fire, and you got famine. All right, those three ways of dying is very painful and very gruesome, you know, if you will. That's not, you rather go out by getting your head chopped off, or, you know, you get shot. That would be a modern day sword. It'll be a lot less painful and quick. You get shot in the head or something, and that's if you die, because, you know, there's people that have survived headshots, man. You know, so that's not even really guaranteed either. But the point is that the Lord is going to bring these miseries and punishments upon you people here in America, you American citizens. 2/3 of you Israelites, all right, that's wicked, that refuse to repent and turn back to the Lord. You don't want to hear the prophets. You don't want to hear what we're telling you. You think that we just making this up and trying to either scare you or something. But yeah, we are trying to scare you through the fear, to fear Yahweh Shemyahushai through the Holy Spirit. You could say that because it's the truth, all right? We're not scaring you with some made up shit. You know, this is going to actually happen. All right, you can see it. We a couple hours away. Fucking demon. We a couple of hours away from seeing if they're going to actually go on a strike, man. By 12 o'clock tonight, I'm going to be up. I'm going to be watching to see what's going on. I'm paying attention because it's prophecy, man. The Lord said he set us up to be watchmen for the house of Israel. So we got to give you warning. We got to see what's going on. Always filter it back through the Holy Scriptures, because the prophecies in the Bible is faithful and true. They will come to pass. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, but when. So we always got to be watching. All right. I'm going to get one last scripture here that I had in my mind. I think it's Ezekiel, the 5th chapter. Should be towards the end. It's probably 4 at the end, which it says basically the same thing, but yeah, Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 16, it says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem. The staff is basically like the supply chain, like the source, you know, the power source. You see, Like in the ancient world, you had like the bread baskets, you know, you had your well. If your well ran dry and you don't live by no rivers, you pretty much fucked. And if the Most High causes some type of drought, let's say it doesn't rain, well, now you don't have water. You know, it wasn't like this in the ancient world. You go to the store, get a gallon of water. That's, you know, this is due to, once again, the trade and the traffic of American imports. You see, once you don't have that, what the hell you people gonna do? The Lord is gonna break the staff of bread, meaning the supply chain. He's gonna destroy the imports and the supply chain of America's, you know, trade infrastructure, man. And the only people that's going to have access to food and water is the government. They're going to seize control over the supply chain. Let's say this thing does spiral out of control. That's an automatic national emergency. That could freeze the election. I mean, there's so many other things that could come out of it. But when you look at the most obvious things for face value, obviously, if you're not importing goods to the whole East Coast of America, that's going to cause some type of famine. That's going to cause some type of economic blow that could just take this place out because it's already weak. You see, it's already bruised. This place is already destroyed. It's a house of cards, man. It's just really waiting for some type of black swan domino effect scenario. And this could very well be it. You know, I hope it is, man. I'm praying like heaven that it is. It says, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. It says, I'm going to read in the NLT. Then he told me, son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. Again, that's a people before it's a place. So the Lord is going to get 2/3 of you niggas by famine. That's going to be your particular judgment, and everybody in America. The only ones that's not going to basically have to suffer famine is people who either stored up food, and that's not even guaranteed. You know, that's definitely not guaranteed, because the Most High can have anything happen to your storehouse, just like that parable of that man who his life was required that night. It's in the book of Luke. I can't remember off top, but there's a parable about that, how a man was storing up goods, and then he didn't even know that basically he had a day. You know, we all got a day, so to speak, but meaning he had a day, meaning the Most High, you know, was going to take him that night. So all that storing up of food that he did really didn't do nothing for him. So that could easily happen. I only say that loosely, that, you know, basically the people who is prepared for a famine, they'll be more better off than these niggas walking around, man. These jakes, these 2/3. They're not ready for anything. They think that this is going to be going on forever. They think the show is going to keep going forever. That the so-called white man is going to remain in rulership. You know, he's always going to have a sophisticated society where, you know, we have food and water at our fingertips, you know, easy access. Niggas are not thinking about a day when there's not going to be food and water. So that's what the Lord is going to do, man. He's going to cut your EBTs off. He's going to cut the Section 8 off. He's going to do that by putting the spirit on the so-called white man to do it. All right, once Esau, Edom, who's the devil, shut this society down and take control over the food supply through FEMA, right? Federal Emergency Management Agency. Once they take control of everything through executive order, you people are fucked, man. If you're not going to take the chip, if you're not going to bow down completely to the white man, and even when you do that, you still going to be fucked, man, because you got to deal with the Lord coming back. You got to deal with World War III. A chip is not going to save you from nuclear destruction. All right, no matter what they promising you, always UBI. Look, you know, we'll give you X amount of money a month. You'll be all right. Unlike these other people, you're still going to be destroyed, man. At the end of the day, you're not saving yourself. The Lord said those that seek to save themselves are going to die, roughly paraphrasing. Those that seek to matter of fact, I got to get it. I don't want to butcher it. Let me see. Yeah, Luke 17:33. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. So that's what we're doing. We're losing our life. We've given up our life in the pursuit of happiness and, you know, trying to live the American dream. We've given all of that up to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua through fear, because we know that, and faith, of course, it goes hand in hand. When we heard this word, all right, and we believed in it, we were sealed. And we were basically sold already. You know, we was convinced, man. We was convinced, we was fully persuaded that, oh man, this is actually going to happen. So what do I have to do to survive this? Well, the scriptures gives you the guideline on what to do. First of all, you can't survive it. The Lord has to be with you. Yahweh Shemel has to have mercy on you in order for you to survive what's about to come. That's not even something you could do. That's why I said earlier, these people that's storing up food and water, that's not necessarily going to save them, but maybe they'll be safe from the famine for a time. And maybe until the government comes in with their martial law, or these other foreign troops, you know, the UN, the peacekeepers, whoever it is, the Interpol, international police, they come and seize your goods. Well, then that's it for you. All right, but nevertheless, the point is that those that are basically trying to live and, you know, basically live this American dream and preserve their life in America, they're not going to get anywhere with that. All right, once the shit hits the fan, like they say, nothing that any of you people have ever done here is going to matter. It's not going to protect you from that day. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to do you any good in that time. You see, the only thing that would have did you any good is giving your life up for Yahweh Shai, man, sacrificing your time, your energy for this truth. All right, that's what the Lord is acknowledging, and those are the ones he's going to have mercy on, the elect. You see? So going back, I'm going to end it off here. It says, and they shall eat. I meant to read in the NLT. I already read it in the KJV. Going back to the NLT, verse 16, Ezekiel 4:16. It says, it will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. So whatever little bit of food and water people do have, obviously, you're going to have to ration it. Like it says, the water will be rationed out drop by drop, and the people will drink it with dismay. Lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror, and they will waste away under their punishment. What is that? Pining away, starving to death. Because eventually you're not going to have no more supply. You're going to run out of supply. You got stored up food and water. How long is that going to last you? Do you know when the Lord is coming back? You see, we're not worried about that, man. We're going to eat. The scriptures tell you that my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry, you people. All right, the servants of the Lord is going to have in that day. The Lord's going to provide, not anything that we stored up. I mean, hey, if you stored up a little something, that's good. You know, you did it with faith, especially, that's great. You know, the Lord could use that to help you and possibly other brothers and sisters of the household of faith. But as far as for you people, see, whatever you do have and whatever you do get access to is going to be so little and insufficient that you won't be able to survive on that. You see? So the Lord is going to cut you off by starvation, by famine. All right, this is what's coming. They're going to ration all of the goods here in America eventually. When shit hits a fan like that, and we under a FEMA national emergency, you know, whenever there's a next pandemic or whatever, the cyber attack, you know, lights out situation, EMP, whatever, however it goes, probably all of the above. You know, they will ration the food and water, and you people, especially you fat ass Americans, man, you're gonna have to learn how to ration and go on a diet. You see, you're gonna have to learn. You can't just eat 8 meals a day whenever you want. All right, no more wasting food. The great wasters, man, in America, throwing out food by the tons. That's not going to be a thing in that day, man. There's going to be people going through garbage cans trying to find food because they so damn hungry. See, you people are going to know the terror of the Lord, man. The scriptures tell you that knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. This has happened in history before. Don't act like it's never happened. A famine, you know, an economic collapse is coming. And that's a terrible thing. But this time it's just going to be way worse than any other time in history. You see, any other time in history you've seen a famine or hyperinflation or economic collapse, it's just going to be that much worse here in America. All right, Babylon the Great. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's the point. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Hope and pray you were edified through the Holy Spirit. Shalom to the elect.